Hello guys and welcome back to another crypto update. So today we're gonna start about what we heard on YouTube. So everyone is saying that we broke this symmetrical triangle to the upside. Some of them are also saying that this in fact was a W pattern which we are currently breaking. But for me, I tend to look for what Bitcoin previously did. So for me, the symmetrical triangle and the W pattern are invalid, although technically they are a good TA, but what I am looking for is another bear flag. And why is that? If you zoom out on the daily and scroll a little bit to the upside, we can notice that from the 69k we only did bear flags. Bear flag here, bear flag here, bear flag here. So why don't we assume that we're gonna do another bear flag, right? So let's zoom in again on this bear flag. We can notice that we have already two touch points as support on the below trend line and some resistance on the upper trend line. So for me this is a legit bear flag, and what I'm expecting is the target of about 13k. And when I am expecting that, so let's remove this one. If we measure the total days it stayed in the bear flag, I'm talking about these two small bear flags because this one was a mega bear flag which we reached already the target. So if we take the date range from when it entered the bear flag and when it broke down, it was 32 days. Another on this one when it entered, and when it broke it was 34 days. So we can assume that on the average it takes between 32 and 34 days. So if we do the same thing when it enters the bear flag and about 34 days, we are saying that about 20th July we should break. We could even break before, but let's stay on that data. So if we measure the pole and we are saying that we are about to break at 28th July, it gives us the target exactly of about 13k. Now, what has influenced this value? On the monthly, I've been saying that we have this two trend lines that have been supporting and resisting Bitcoin price from the beginning, and 13k is exactly, approximately, sorry, 13.8 to be exact, the close high of 2017 and the highest wick of 2019. So on the monthly, this value about 13.8 or maybe 14k gives us a confidence that it was a very strong resistance and now potentially flipping as support, although we did not reach it yet. But the target of this bear flag says that we are going to reach that level. Something word of notice also, we measure the ascending triangle of this monthly pattern and we know that we reached the high and the target at 69k. So we are potentially reversing on this break of this ascending triangle to flip it as support. So guys, all those being very bullish, keep calm. We still have room to go to the downside. This bear flag is in fact for me potentially crossing to the downside. Now what I would like to see for a bullish outcome, what I'd like to see is a wick touching this 13.8 or 14k level, but on the monthly closing above this green trend line. If it happens or not is still to be seen. If we zoom in on the daily, we can notice that the target, if we maybe copy the pattern of the previous break and pull it out like this, breaking at exactly the 20th of July, so like this, it gives us as 25th of July maybe the bottoming out of this bear flag. So it would only have about 6 days to go back up and close above 20k, because 20k is the value of the trend line for the monthly support. So for me, the bulliest outcome would be a wick to the downside and closing above this trend line. So what I think it will happen is that we close the monthly for the first time since Bitcoin started below this trend line, consolidate here on this new support if we find support here, and then pull back to the upside to retest this trend line as new support. Of course, even on this trend line we need to see and find bullish reversals. For me, the bullish reversal at that time would be the break of this falling broadening wedge, which is the orange two trend lines. And I'm saying like this, so we break, retest and push to the upside. For me, that would be the bullish reversal to give me confidence at this exact moment when we find support here. And on the monthly, as I tell you, consolidate, then push back to the upside. So guys, be aware of this bear flag. It still needs to break down, potentially breaking down, of course. So that's it guys from me. See you on the next update.